Hi everyone, so in this video I want to talk about how to self-medicate for your own ADHD, because let's face it, here in England it's extremely hard to get a diagnosis. It takes about 3 years on a waiting list, and even when you do get diagnosed, apparently it takes weeks to get medication. I'm actually on the waiting list now. I've been on about a year. I have chose for the right to choose path, which is on Psychiatry UK website. They'll give you a letter to print out and give to your doctor, and this speeds up the process because your doctor can then refer you to the right to choose Psychiatry UK diagnosis, which takes about a year. But even that's going up and up and up because so many people are applying for it. So I'll first want to talk a little bit about medication for ADHD, because most meds out there for ADHD, this is what the drugs companies don't want you to know. And what that is you can easily get the same substance in these drugs on the streets here in England, on the black market, and it's known as amphetamine, which is also known as speed. Now, some people will not agree with me in this video, okay, but I'm telling you, if you're careful with this substance and you use it in very small doses, like there is in the ADHD meds, there's quite small doses in those. But what I'm going to advise personally is take less than them, okay? Because this stuff is really powerful. It's a really powerful substance, and it really does help your ADHD in many ways, okay? So what I'll do is, okay, I'll get amphetamine, which is the pure form. Well, it's not pure. It's kind of like a white powder. If it's a good quality one, it'll be kind of moist. It'll all be stuck together. And what I'll do is I'll weigh out 5 milligrams, okay, on a morning, and I'll put this in my coffee. Okay, so I'll weigh out 5 milligrams. I'll use a little tiny kind of little spatula to scrape it off. Then I'll put it in the coffee, and within about 30 minutes to an hour it takes effect. And you'll notice straight away that well, what happens with me is, guys, like with ADHD, we have a lot of thoughts. Our mind never stops, okay, and it thinks all these worrying thoughts about the future. It sees everything from a bigger perspective, and it's just so hard to navigate in this reality when we're going through all these thoughts, and especially within societal constructs, which us with the ADHD find it very hard to stick to. It really is hard, because it's not just the thoughts, it's the emotions the thoughts create. So with me, I get these paralyzing, negative, fearful emotions based on my thoughts, which then kind of paralyzes and not allow us to be in society and do normal things like normal work and just dealing with appointments, etc., because your mind literally creates these emotions, and these emotions are what stop you functioning when you've got ADHD. So what the amphetamine does is you'll still have the thoughts, okay, but you'll be very productive and you'll feel more energy and happier, okay, and you'll also the thoughts themselves don't create the negative emotions, you see, because what amphetamine does is it increases the dopamine in your brain so that the negative emotions don't come up as much. So you'll still get the thoughts, okay, you'll still get, you won't get as many, but you will still get random thoughts, complex thoughts, etc., even fearful thoughts sometimes. But because it doesn't create the emotion, because the amphetamine's counteracting the emotions, you'll actually you'll feel a lot better, and you'll be able to handle the thoughts even more. And that's why I do recommend this substance, because this substance is in most ADHD meds, okay. Ritalin is basically a form of amphetamine. That's the same thing. Adderall is amphetamines. Dexamphetamine is in the name. It's amphetamines, okay. It's dextrose amphetamine, which is mixed with something else, but it's still the same thing. But what I've found is that normal street amphetamine that you get is exactly the same, but you've got to be extremely careful with the doses, okay, because if you take too much of this stuff, okay, you're not going to be able to think clearly, and you're just going to get addicted to it, and you're going to have bad downers afterwards, you see. So it's the same with all substances. You've got to be extremely careful with them. So what I'll do is, to manage my ADHD, is I'll take 5 milligrams with my coffee in the morning, and this is working amazing for me, but I don't take it every day. This is the thing, guys, I don't take it every day because the substance is so powerful that it even works the next day for me. Okay, the next day I still feel like I've got less emotions, I still feel productive. So for me, everybody's different, but for me, I take it every 2 days. So every 2 days I'll have 5 milligrams in my coffee in the morning, and this, so far, I've been doing this for 2 weeks now, my ADHD is basically like so much easier to handle. Okay, so much easier. I've got more happiness and joy in life. I've got motivation. I can do things which before I could never do. Okay, I've got a lot more kind of acceptance for things around us, because with ADHD, when you see things in society that are not fair, etc., you get quite angry, and these angry thoughts create the bad emotions again. But with this medication, your emotions will just be loads better. And I would even go, I've tried Ritalin, okay, I've tried Ritalin, I've tried dexamphetamine, and I would even say that taking the normal street amphetamine is actually better than this. Like, that's my opinion, guys. I'm not saying go and do this, I'm just saying it's an option for you to try. And one of the other plus sides of this is it's a lot cheaper than the ADHD meds that you get from the doctors, because this is what the drugs companies don't want you to know. Amphetamine is an extremely cheap drug to make. Okay, it's extremely cheap to make, and £10 worth of street amphetamine, okay, would last me probably around about 2 months for £10, whereas the ADHD meds are a lot more expensive than this, and it's basically the same thing. Now, I know some of you might not agree with this. You might think, well, you shouldn't do this because society says you shouldn't do this and drugs are illegal, etc. But that's a matrix thing, okay? It's a societal thing. It's not the reality, okay? Because I've tried many substances and many of them have helped me evolve to become a better person. And the most legal drugs out there are the most dangerous. If you look at any studies done, alcohol is the most dangerous drug out there, and that's the one that's legal, okay? But they don't want you to know this because alcohol dumbs you down, whereas some other drugs don't. They make you wake up, you see. So this is my experience with self-medicating for ADHD, guys. So if you're serious about this, I would recommend trying it yourself. But don't do it if you've got an addictive personality. This is very important. If you've got an addictive personality, don't do it, because you might do too much. You see, you might take too much, and then your body will rely on that too much, you see. So you've got to be extremely careful with doses, extremely careful. Like, literally the tiniest little speck of it start with, okay, in your coffee in the morning. The tiniest little speck probably is about the size of like, this is a tiny amount, guys. I mean, do you know the Sweet X, little Sweet X tablets that you put in coffee, those sweeteners? Those are tiny, okay? It needs to be probably, I would say, half the size of one of them. That works out about 5 to 10 milligrams. Start with that first. Start with a very tiny amount. Have your coffee, see if you feel it, okay? You most likely will, especially the first time you take it. You feel it because you're not used to that sensation of having amphetamine in your system. And I'm pretty sure, guys, that you'll like it, okay? It's an extremely powerful substance, especially for us with ADHD. And yeah, if you're gonna try this, be very careful, guys. I'm not telling you to try this. This is up to you. I'm just giving you my experiences of it. And I'm going to carry on doing this until I get my ADHD medication. And when I do, and I take that, if it's not as good as the amphetamine, I'm going to scrap it and I'm going to keep taking the amphetamine by myself from the black market or wherever you're going to get it from, okay? So yeah, so that's my take on self-medicating for ADHD, guys. If you've got any comments, please leave them, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Love you all. Be back soon with another video. Have a nice day.